Hello.
Okay.
um, in thinking about what we're doing, I'm sort of imagining that all of us who are here have some element of energetic output, whether it's toward community and social engagement or family or maybe in our work or whatever. And so I have found, after being a therapist, mental health for, how many years? I don't even know, 25 almost, that the sort of the returning of the energy is really important. The coming back to self and kind of filling up the cup and renewing is really important when your energy is being extended a lot of the time. And I think in this particular time, given what we're facing politically and socially, and just the unrest and the chaos and the division that we're feeling, even if, so even just being in that sort of day-to-day context, we can lose sight of the fact that there is this still place that exists, and we can get really lost and separated from it. And so what I want to do today is a really simple mindfulness practice. And I think as we go on, I'll be doing this every Wednesday. I have a couple of processes from bioenergetics that I want to share you that are about sort of dispersing energy when it's built up, or grounding, or that kind of thing. So today what I want to do is just lead us initially in a mindfulness practice, very simple. And if you've done mindfulness before, that's okay, because each time that we come to it, we are new. So sometimes, it can feel like, oh yeah, I've done that before, I've sat before, but come to it with sort of a fresh perspective, and knowing that you've never been this person in this moment doing this practice. And so there is a freshness to it if you can sort of hold it in that context. So I'm going to start with that, and then we'll kind of see where we end up by the end of the hour. So we'll start there. So go ahead, if you're comfortable closing your eyes. Not everyone is. If you are, just let them close. If you're more comfortable just looking down kind of in your lap, that's okay. What you're trying to do is just sort of take some time away from all the visual stimulation. So if closing your eyes works, that's great. And otherwise, just cast your eyes down gently. And just begin with this simple practice of listening to whatever sounds are around you. So they might be distant sounds away from the room that you're in. They might be sounds in the house or building that you're in. More immediate sounds right around you. Sounds from your body. So we're going to sit and just listen. Just sort of open your ears. And as you do this, you might notice that your mind is still kind of wrapped in maybe something you were just doing, or anticipating something that's coming. So allow yourself to notice that and just come back to listening. So just go, yeah, my mind kind of starts to wander, and I'm just going to listen. Just open my ears and listen. And then allow your attention now to come to places where your body is in contact with something that isn't you. So if you're sitting on a chair, so you'll feel your back of your legs and your butt against the chair. If you're leaning back, you'll notice your back against something. If you have shoes on, so just sort of notice your body in space and in contact. And so the body experiences that as pressure. It might just be really gentle, like something's resting on your lap, or it might be a more solid kind of pressure, like what you're sitting on, you'll feel that against your body with more pressure. So allow yourself with soft attention to come to the body in this way. Noticing, where am I in contact with some surface that isn't me? And what does that contact feel like to me? So we're feeling from the inside, not an observation from the neck up, kind of looking, but dropping into the experience of sitting or lying down or whatever you're doing, and feeling your body against surfaces. Noticing pressure. Noticing where your attention wants to go. The mind likes to engage in stories and tales and following them and creating them. And so this is a step away from story making, from the stories of the social, political scene, stories of your own life even, and just coming in. And we're going to just keep dropping, coming in more inward and more inward. So we find that still point, which is there always, but we can forget about it or not be able to find it sometimes. So this is a practice of stepping away and unhooking from the stories and just coming here for yourself and with yourself. And now notice how parts of your body might be touching other parts of your body. Your hands might be in your lap, or your legs might be crossed or together in some way. Your lips, where they come together. The upper arms against the side of your body, your torso. So just notice where you come into contact with yourself. And embody those places. Be there with them. You might notice temperature. There might be heat or coolness. And coming even inward to the interior body now with your soft attention. The interior body where you might feel tingling, or you might feel pulling or pressure or tension or softness or spaciousness. So just kind of come inside. And what we're doing is we're aligning the attention and the body. So they're here in the same place, the attention and the body, right here. And while we do this, we also become aware of how the mind wants to wander, like the attention is accustomed to wandering. So anytime that happens, just notice, maybe make a note of where you went or what you were up to, and just come back like, okay, not now. I'm going to be I'm being here with myself, dropping toward my stillness. So we're going beyond and beneath the stories, right? And the mind wants to hold on to the stories. And so we're like, shh, going in. And if you haven't already, you might have noticed, let your attention sort of softly drift to this pulse of the breath coming into the body and leaving the body. And it's always there, which is such a lovely thing. There's this pulse, this rhythm that's with us all the time. You don't have to do anything to make it happen. We just turn our attention to it, and there it is. So in this way of mindfulness, we just bring our awareness and our attention to this movement. And you might be aware of it coming in and out of your nose. You might be aware of activity in your throat in some way, or the rising and falling of your chest, your belly. You might be aware of your back as the air comes in and leaves, the sides of your... So just feel where the breath comes to life for you. Where is it that you most easily recognize it and find your way to it? And go there, wherever that is for you. And just stay there as you breathe, as your body breathes. And there are 2 points of interest in mindfulness that help us stay. And I just want to tell you about them before we sit quietly for 5 minutes. And that is the point at which the breath coming into the body gets to the top of the inhale, and there's a transition where it becomes the out breath. And then at the bottom of that exhale, there's that point of transition that we're breathing in again, right? So if we give ourselves to the body and to the movement of the breath organically, we don't have to do anything, but it's really about bringing our awareness and our attention to those 2 points, and the breath, the exhale and the inhale. But sometimes if we have these points of focus, kind of helps us stay here, and then we can really drop. So play around with that a little bit as you breathe in, and you make that little moment where the breath becomes an exhale, and the exhale becomes the inhale, and it just happens. You get to just sit there and feel it and be in it. And I'll invite you to notice where your attention is a few times in this 5 minutes. And that's just a reminder for you to be aware. Did the attention drift? If it did, just come back and find out which part of the breath cycle you're in, and be there again. Notice where your attention is right now. And always gently coming back if you've left. Really letting the exhale help you drop with gravity, a little tug toward the earth. As you breathe out, just drop. Let yourself just drop in. right here. Nowhere else to be. Even if you're in motion, taking care of somebody, mindfulness can happen anytime. And ideally, we do learn to bring this level of attention to action. Right now, we're just sitting. If you have to be tending to someone, just remember the breath is there. Even in motion, the breath is always happening. That's our beautiful anchor in this moment. And follow your body if there's an inclination to let the breath in be longer. Let that happen, and then let the exhale out longer. So just allow yourself to really tune in to the rhythm, that there is this rhythm in your body of the breath all the time, all the time. So find your way to that. Before the body, before the story, before the name, beyond the mind, attempt to find or explain, beneath the breath, beyond the sense of pleasure or of pain, and after it, I am. Within the heart, the whole and part of everything I see. Behind the eyes, beyond the skies, reflecting me. In the silent core, and yet before phenomena began. And after death, I am. Many differences separate us on the surface, yes. But I cannot find a boundary in consciousness. And when you ask me, Where does awareness begin and does it end? I have to say, it's always been in the silent core, and yet before phenomena began. Oh, and after death, I am. After death, and after death, I am. Breathing, being. And so in these last few minutes, I'd like you to just think about something that you love to do, something that when you do it, it puts you in touch with a more peaceful place within you, a loving place. Maybe it's a creative something. And it could be the simplest thing, a cup of tea sitting outside or being on a bicycle, but something that engages you in a loving, that you love to do, that just brings you joy and peace and calm. And to consider that right now in this quieter place, what that is for you. It might be many things. It might be something you used to do often that you loved, that you haven't done for a long, long time. It might be something like that. That in this time of great unrest, I don't know what else to call it. I find myself saying that a lot. Great unrest. One of the ways that we counterbalance that energy is to be in a state of love. And one of the ways that we can be in a state of love is to do the kinds of things that bring us to that place that we love to do. So maybe consider cultivating a relationship with that if you've lost it, or if there is something you already do daily, just keep at it. Do it as often as you can. These healthy, life-giving kinds of activities and actions that bring you to this place internally that is settled, loving, peaceful, connected. It might be active. It might be a really active thing you're doing, but just this place of connectedness with our joy and our loving. And as we cultivate that, we bring that to the collective because we embody it. So it becomes who we are, that energy. And so another couple of breath cycles in and out, and you can start to consider opening your eyes when you're ready. Thank you for all being here with your energy and attention.